Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano. You are listening to another episode of the world famous The University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. Uno, dos, tres. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I would just call the show Online Marketing Moves. And we are coming to you live today. Today is, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Wednesday, July the 9th, 2025. Ladies and gents, we have something very important to talk to you about today. But before we get into it, I wanna say, when these quote unquote, we're gonna use this term loosely. You know, everybody's a celebrity now. You're a celebrity, I'm a celebrity, you're a star, I'm a star, we're all stars, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Let me give you a little piece of advice. Now, you know, I'm from a whole nother generation, okay? I'm from a whole different time in life. You know, I could have let me just say this, okay? I was born in 79, okay? 1979, ladies and gents. And for the longest time, there was no such a thing as social media. You know, in your local town, if you wanted to get engaged, well, let me take that back. In your local town, when people did get engaged, you would take a little picture. They would put it in the newspaper. You know, Dottie got engaged to Phil, and Dottie and Phil are gonna be happily ever after. Blah blah blah. But nowadays, you know, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to creating content, a lot of people lean into the relationship content. We're in love content. You know, couple goals, blah 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 blah. You know, it's very eye rolling. I don't know about you, but because it's not because I don't think the relationships are great. Relationships are a beautiful thing. They are a wonderful thing. I love my wife to death. I love being in a relationship with my wife. It's one of the most. It's one of the nicest things, you know. Of course, everybody says, you know, relationships. Listen, anybody that you love, it doesn't matter. Anybody that you love, sometimes there can be friction in the relationship, but you get through it. Why? Because these are the people closest to you. You know, who are you going to argue with first? Me personally. I'm never gonna argue with the stranger. Somebody walk up to me and say, "I don't agree with nothing you say on your podcast." I'd be like, "Oh, okay." You think I give a, you know what I'm saying? If my cousin called me if my cousin called me and started talking to me and he wanted to have a debate, okay, that's because we have a close relationship. You know, that's my brother. If one of my friends, I only got two of them, one of them called me up, they want to have a debate, of course. And if me and my wife have a disagreement, of course, we're gonna hash that out. That's always that's. But what I'm saying is, you know, the me and my wife, we don't. When it comes to me and her, we don't do the social media thing. You know, we don't. Every day there's not a take a picture. Every day there's not a, you know, maybe on my birthday she'll post a post because she know I don't really like all that, and so it's funny. It's more funny now than anything. But what I'm driving home is people lean into this relationship goals and taking pictures of each other and doing stupid videos and all this and all that. So they want you to get invested in their relationship. This is where we're going. Get in the car. I'm driving us home. They want us to be invested in their relationship in the beginning, in the middle. Okay. All right. We're all invested. And then in the end, if they break up or when they break up, if they break up, however you want to put it, all of a sudden, all these people that do the relationship BS, the relationship, you know, hey, you know, couples dancing goal, all this bullshit, all this BS. Whenever the relationship is coming to it, crashing and burning, all of a sudden, Jesus, we need privacy. I ask you for privacy in this time, blah, 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 blah. You've harassed us, and I'm not even looking for people to see they stupid relationship posts. But I see them. I'm not looking for that stuff, but I see it. Why do I see it? Because you post it all the damn time. As soon as my wife will send me anything about a relationship, it's always like the next 3 or 4 days, these people pop up. I can't scroll. I can't scroll fast enough. You know what I'm saying? I still have to see it. I'm just like, Who cares? But all of a sudden they're asking for privacy when they break up. Oh my God, we need privacy. We need privacy. No, we need to know what happened. What happened? Okay, why did this relationship go left? What what is going on in you guys' life that we need to know about? Who cheated on who? Who did what? And the reason why I bring this up is because I saw. I mean, why did I see? I saw a post about Dwight Howard getting a divorce after 6 months. Sheesh, 6 months. Crazy work. 6 months, get married, and his wife or whatever, I was about to record, and my friend, the great Ricky, Slick Rick, he sent me something on the Instagram, and I looked at it, and then the next thing, they do, because somebody sends you something, you click on it, you watch it, and then the next thing will pop up. And of course, the next thing that popped up, it said Dwight Howard and his wife filed for divorce after 6 months of marriage. She wants half, blah, 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 blah. I thought, damn, then they just get married? And then, of course, I said, well, one of them is going to ask for privacy. And it's going to be, I said, one of them is going to ask for privacy, And, I went to Dwight Howard's page, nothing. I went to the young ladies page. I'm asking for privacy at this time. I don't want a dime of his money, blah, 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 blah. I asked him to sign a prenup, blah, blah, yeah, right, blah, 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 blah. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, I sound very negative today, but what I'm driving home is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when you want to put yourself out there, when you want to be a celebrity, and you want to lean into that relationship stuff, you want to lean into the relationship marketing, you want to get the Cardi B and the Offset McDonald's package, you want to take the McDonald's Offset Cardi B money, listen, people are gonna be in your business. I'm sorry to tell you that. I don't want to be in your business. I don't care. But it popped up, and I just thought to myself, man, I am tired of seeing. You get tired of seeing. All right. Sorry, I had to take a pause. My leg fell asleep, and that was not good for business. But let's get back to this relationship. I can't. Once I paused, I lost train of thought. But what I'm saying is, these people that lean into the relationship content, they lean into the relationship. Oh yeah, they want the Cardi B, they want the Offset, McDonald's deal. They want the, they want to go do the, hey, we on the cruise boat. We got this couple. They're gonna come out. They're gonna play games with you. People want all that. You know what I'm saying? You want the money. You want the fame. You want the, hey, I'm with so and so. I'm with, this young lady. She's with Dwight Howard. She's with Dwight Howard. She's with Dwight Howard. She was with Dwight Howard. She was proud to be with Dwight Howard. They took pictures. They was in love. Man, listen. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is very unprofessional. She's with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard. Oh Lord. We're not gonna pause it. She is with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is a man. Okay? Dwight Howard is a man. She's very happy to be with Dwight. She's very happy to be with Dwight. She's very happy to be with Dwight Howard. And it didn't work out. Now she wants privacy. Listen. Ladies, let me give you a piece of advice. I ain't your daddy or nothing like that. But I'm gonna give you a little piece of advice. Anytime you see a man, Dwight Howard, he got like 4 or 5 kids, and they, every one of them, they got different. He got like 7 baby mamas. Man, he got like 5 kids, 5 baby mamas. He ain't never married none of them. When you see a man like that, man, I know these days everybody want to be greedy or whatever, or think, man, Dwight Howard, listen, 5 kids with 5 women, never been married. Dwight Howard, you could clearly tell he got some type of mental illness, not a real mental illness, but, some type of, and plus, Dwight Howard, he likes dudes as well. So, he had that whole harassment case. So he's, bisexual, which, as a man, if you're bisexual, you're just gay, let's just call a spade, okay? You're trying to date this man. You're like, I don't care about the rumors. I don't care about the rumors. You might want to care about the rumors, okay? Now, not because, listen, there's nothing wrong with being gay. But when you're closeted or whatever you got, whatever Dwight Howard got going on, ladies, you don't want to be involved in that. And this young lady, she's a young lady. And I understand, we're all looking for love, but sometimes you just got to be like, hey, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Come on now. And let's use common sense. You see these guys, like, why would anybody marry Nick Cannon at this point? Come on, marry Nick Cannon, a joke. Cam Newton, a joke. Just because they got money don't mean they ain't. You could be not about shit and have money, okay? Cam Newton ain't about shit. Nick Cannon ain't about shit. Dwight Howard, they ain't about shit. Listen. Lil Wayne got a bunch of damn kids. Yeah, you gotta. I don't give a damn how much money they got, you know? Yeah, they can pay for their kids, blah, 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 blah. If you see somebody and they got a bunch of kids by a bunch of damn women, run for the hills, man. Ain't nothing you can gonna change that. Ain't nothing you can do to fix that. I don't give a damn if you're 18 or if you're 60, okay? Who wants to be dealing with a person that has all these? Listen, if a woman if a woman approach hell's bells. Matter of fact, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story, kids. And this is not even what podcast is supposed to be about. But since we're on the subject, there was this girl that liked me, okay? This was a long time ago. Long time ago. Yes. She was a nice girl, very sweet girl, lovely young lady, very lovely, okay? She had 4 kids, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. She had 4 youngins, okay? And there was nothing wrong with that. God bless her, okay? She liked me, okay? She wanted to go out. We went on one date, and I just thought to myself, in the back of my mind, I just thought, I can't do this, man. I cannot do this. She's nice and very sweet, very lovely, you know. I thought not. She was very nice, okay? Don't get me wrong. But man, in the back of my mind, I just said, man, I can't do it. I can't. Then she said something to me during that meal, and I said, well, she's right. She said, well, if you want your own kids, I'm not the one for you. And I thought, you know what, sweetheart? You're right. You ain't the one for me. You are not the one for me. Okay? You are not the one for me. This is it. Because why? You know, and there's nothing wrong with being a step parent. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But you know, we was pretty young at the time, and she had 4 kids. And I know you know, way back when, you know, I had a baby when I was 42. When I was 21, you were not gonna get the most mature person. You know, I could have did it if I would have, you know, got married or whatever and had a baby. I could have stepped up. But for me at the time to be 21 and somebody to be like, oh, I got 4 kids, you got to deal with it. That I'm 21. Okay, I'm not 51, 61. I'm 21. What am I gonna do with a woman with 4 kids that are not mine? Okay, and I just thought to myself, we're both the same age, and you got 4 kids. You make bad decisions, sweetheart. That's all. I'm married too. You make bad decisions. That's not my problem. That's your problem. You have to deal with that, and that's all right. And God bless. So, you know, I did it. It wasn't even a second date. None of that. It was just cut that off. Okay. It's just when you have people, it doesn't matter who they are, man, celebrity, not celebrity, and you see all these kids. And honestly, let me tell you something. Now, this is not a proven fact, but I got a very suspicious hunch. When a man makes a bunch of kids and he's not married, listen, if you're married, Phillip Rivers has 10 kids, you know. Him and his wife, they have like a gang of kids, okay? I had an aunt. She had a bunch of kids with her husband, okay? Matter of fact, a lot of people in my family back in them days, they had a bunch of kids with their husband or whatever, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm telling you is, if a man has one child, they have another child with another woman, and then another child with another woman, and another child with another woman, it's not they're a man. They are trying to show the world that they're a man because they are hiding something. Listen, I'm just telling you what I know. Because what do I need to? I'm a man. I know I'm a man. I like women. What more do I need to prove? You know, I got a baby with my wife. I love my baby. I love my wife. We had a baby. We got married. We had the baby. I don't need to show the world. I don't need to have 100 more kids to show the world. And look at me. I'm a man. But I know who I am. I know what I like. I know that's it. A lot of times when men have, you know, because it's like, why are you having all these kids with all these different women? Like, what's going on? Why can't you? Because how hard is it to maintain a relationship? It's not that hard. Listen, they have these relationship podcasts and they're bullshit. You know that, and I know that. A lot, and I hate to say this, but a lot in the black community, unfortunately, they have a bunch of relationships. They have a bunch of podcasts about relationships with a bunch of people that ain't married, and they're trying to give advice about relationships. Listen, and let me tell you something else, okay? I'm gonna be perfectly. People say, "Why should I not get married?" There's not a difference. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big difference, and there's a big difference, and when you are married, there's a big difference in when you are married and when you are just playing house. Okay, there's a big difference. There's a legal aspect. There's a let's not even. I'm not even going to discuss. I'm not even going to discuss God to a lot of you heathens. Okay, we won't even get into that. But what I will say is this: there's a lot of legal ramifications, and the reason. And people all the time they get all upset. I had a cousin. We are going deep today. I had a cousin. She had 2 kids with a man that was legally in quotes married. Nobody. I didn't even know this guy was married, but he died. He was still legally married to his wife, to the lady he married. So guess what? Wife got whatever. Her kids got the benefits because she had kids by him. But his wife probably got whatever insurance and all this kind of stuff. And in the obituary they put on this, she was labeled under special friend. Can you believe that? Special friend. 2 kids by this clown, and she's labeled special friend. What is that? You can't even say they was in. She told me they was engaged. So how can you be engaged to somebody that's already married? I mean, make it make sense. And so I'm just telling you, man. I'm not telling you. Well, be in a relationship is nice. As I get older, and the sun is, as I get older, I'm I'm middle age. I might be more than middle age. Who knows? Whenever God calls me home, I'm fine with that. For me, of course, I want to live till I'm 1,000, but we all know that's not gonna happen. But what I'm telling you is, it's nice to be in a relationship. It's nice to be in a committed relationship, a healthy relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being married. But a lot of times, people look for, and when it comes to relationships, people have watched too much TV. People watch too much social media. People believe in a bunch of bullshit. Listen, there's a reality to relationships. Relationships are beautiful. There's a lot of work involved. People are lazy. People look for happiness. Happiness is an emotion. Happiness is great, but it's like, if you can't make yourself happy, how can somebody else make you happy? At the end of the day, you are in control of your own happiness. If you're not happy, then how am I gonna make you happy? Okay, if you're not happy with your life, there's not a whole hell of a lot that I can do. I could give you the world, but if you still are not happy with yourself, then you're never gonna be happy. And that's just the way it is. There's nothing nobody can do about that. Being in a relationship is great. Listen, people all the time, oh man, you ain't got to be married. Listen, get married. It's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have the $50,000 wedding. You don't have to have $100,000 wedding. Too many times people look at the ring. People look at the wedding. Listen, you trying to have a marriage, or you just want to have you want to have a wedding. Pick one, okay? A lot of times people go for the wedding. They don't go for the marriage. The marriage is totally different than the wedding. The wedding is one night. Okay, you have a wedding. It's one night. You have a great time. You wake up the next day. I remember, and me and my wife, we got married on a Friday. I remember it was Sunday night. We was in the bed, and it was just me and her. And I thought, this is the best part of the and I don't mean no disrespect to anybody. I love everybody that came to the wedding, everybody that couldn't come to the wedding, all that, But at the end of the day, for me, marriage, the best part is me and it's my wife, Just like when we was in the hospital, it was me and my wife. She was delivering a baby, it was me and her, And I just thought to myself, this is it. I love everybody. At the end of the day, the closest family you're gonna have is your spouse, your kids, okay? Yeah, like I said, I love all my little brother, friends, everybody. But at the end of the day, the people that are you see every day, the people that you live with, the people right there, your spouse, your kids, those are you're never gonna be as close to anybody, you know, as you're gonna be to those people. And that's just the way it is. And that's all right. When we was in the hospital, it was me and my wife, I was holding her hand. She was squeezing my hand, not so bad. My wife did a great job at having a baby. And when the baby came out, I just remember it was like, I didn't want to call anybody at first. I didn't want to just run to the phone and be like, and I was just like, for 5 or 10 minutes, let's just be the three of us. And it was emotional and it was beautiful. I'm just telling you all this to say, you do not have to announce everything to everybody. Moments are special, not because of you sharing it with a bunch of people, but moments are special because it's just who's in the room at that time. There's no greater feeling that I'm ever gonna have than the birth of my daughter. I remember another great moment when me and my wife, we took pictures before we got married. So, it was just me and her, and I was standing there looking, and she popped out, and I saw her, and I was like, oh my goodness, and my wife, she looked so beautiful, and it was touching. It was just me and her, of course, photographer. But, when you're in that moment, you don't pay attention to the photographer, and it was just me and my wife, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh man, blah, blah, blah. I said something to my wife, and she acted like she wanted to cry, but it all worked out. My God, well, we're gonna keep it going. This Riverside, count your days, computer. You know what? I need a new computer. We're gonna keep talking because this thing is gonna keep recording. It says troubleshoot, but I know that's not true. Ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to talk about something else today, but we're gonna broach on that subject tomorrow. But we're gonna wrap this up. Relationship. Look, listen. Relationships are private. You can keep them private. Yeah, you can share some stuff, but everything don't gotta be public. Don't lean into the relationship. Don't lean into the relationship so much, especially if it's new. Give it some time. Let it cook. Let it season a little bit. And then, if you want to share whatever, you could do that. But don't be so quick, man. Don't be so quick because you don't want to be a psychopath, I don't want to see this is your 5th girlfriend of the year, celebrity, whatever. Come on now. But anyway, ladies and gents, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. God bless each and every one of you. As always, everybody, peace.